Welcome back to Net Talk. I'm Alex.
I'm Mitch.
I was just thinking in my head, I was like, was last week where I just opened with?
And we're talking net.
We're talking about net. Because we're talking about...
That should be a staple. We should just own that.
Is that the new phrase? We keep saying we need something to open with.
Yeah, let's go with that.
No.
Sure.
We're talking volleyball. We're back with another week of Australian volleyball.
We are. With some international trickling over before
sneaking
VNL
in.
stuff begins.
Yeah.
But Slang Champ?
Yeah, how was your week?
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sniffling into this microphone. Sorry, I am a bit ill. Not terrible, but I'm just like not great. I haven't trained. And it's going to be a big match this weekend.
And he's going to miss it again for illness. I'm calling
No,
you
I'm not
now.
missing it.
Abandon us in the grand final and you'll abandon us again.
You guys don't need me this year. In saying that, though, I've become a guy that doesn't need to train anymore. I'm just far better without training. I'm less sore. I'm more energized, except for when I'm sick. So
yeah. Where's all that saved up energy been going? Nowhere. Just illness,
into
sleep,
yeah,
work.
No, the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
And match of the week. So that could be my slay. The match of the weeks are doing. I mean, I don't know what I'm slaying it when you're the one that designs them, but yeah. Oops.
It got support. I was very glad because you know, like when you just like stare at something over and over again, and then you like tweak it a little bit,
and you
then,
just go insane. Like you actually just go insane.
Yeah, and then I posted it, and then realized I forgot to make Lucchesi the same height as Manjob.
Oopsie.
Oh yeah, Manjob.
But then, so I was Mike and Kanwar this week.
Yeah, but it was because I think there was originally another player there on the Heidelberg side last week. And then,
you like made the swap.
I made the swap. I was like, nah, Manjot's the big name. He'll hit 100 balls. And
pretty sure he did.
Pretty sure he did from what I saw as well of that game. We'll get to it.
But yeah, the match of the week has been going well. If you guys like it, share it. If you have other ideas we can incorporate into it, we'll give it a go. My shame is I'm sick. Yeah. To be fair, I had a bout of being really sick a few years back, like through COVID, and just I had some immune issues, which have been sorted out. So I was the guy that was sick all the time, but I haven't actually been sick. Like last year I got sick once all year, grand final.
Yeah.
And then this year, this is the first time I've been sick, and it's the time we played Heidelberg, and I'm just like,
buddy.
I'm just saving myself for the final.
For nothing.
Nah, this is my one and sick.
One and done a year?
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way
early. Yeah.
My week has been pretty uneventful, just like so much uni work that I just could have got done 6 weeks ago.
And have procrastinated this week as well.
I was doing a graphic that probably took me way too long because I have like no workflow. I start from scratch with every project I do.
And I had to like learn all the skills to go with it.
Yeah. And a little other thing that might be in the pipeline.
Yeah, see?
But we had a university event you coached the women for, the Big Blue match. Melbourne Universe Monash goes...
Every year.
Every year, every sport.
Is it every sport?
I don't know. Can you include every sport?
Don't know.
I mean, it's a lot of sports.
I only know that I got the email today of the recap, and it was like 9 wins for Monash and 9 wins for Melbourne Uni. And I was like, there's no way there's only 18 sports.
No, there's still a couple more to go, but they have like, it used to be 1 in the first semester and 1 in the second semester. But I guess they're creating new sports. Where are these new sports coming from?
Don't know.
No, it's just including a couple more sports in it. So I think there's like an athletics one that had already happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Cricket gets its own day.
Right.
Footy already happened. Basketball happened another week. But I think a couple other court sports were on that Monday night, and hockey was on that same night.
Yeah.
So that's a slay. Was that the men won?
I don't want to talk about it.
There's no the women lost. Unlucky. Well, the Monash women won.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about winners only.
Fair enough.
I mean, that Monash women's team won uni games last year.
They are very strong. They have a lot of pieces of the puzzle where I think anyone who's played uni games knows that like if you don't really organise that many training, and like, you know, I'm going to shame Melbourne Uni here. They didn't give us nothing. We trialled the day before.
Oh, for the Big Blue match.
Yeah, for the Big Blue
It was
match.
just like sort of court availability and chasing, so it just sucks. But yeah.
Yeah. So like, but that Monash team has been together for years.
Yeah.
And they're good. So like, you know, we were competitive. I was okay with it. I think uni games, if we get some trainings in our belt, be a different story.
I've been sneaking some murmurs out that the men's team is is back to top form. Sorry the people that played last year.
Yeah, because you're also now playing.
Yeah, I'm back, and I've just leaked a couple murmurs to some Western Sydney boys, maybe that I hope we get like a round 1 matchup against them or something. But we just have
got the old
a pretty
boys
good team
back.
again, but a fair few guys were still away. But it is a strong team on the men's side. I'm going to shame the Big Blue because I feel like the players really tried hard to get it well organised this year, and there just was a bit of miscommunication with the Monash players because the guys thought that they were playing later.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there waiting to start going, it's the best of 3 set match. We have a 90-minute window to finish, which is comfortable. But then it was like, I thought we were starting at 5 and the Monash bus is delayed.
I think there's a few other shames to be going around. Like, why are we playing best of 3? Like, almost everyone on both teams is like Premier 1 level athlete. And it's like, why are we playing?
Which is wild to see at uni games. You talk to people, they go, what do you mean uni games has like P1 players? When I played uni games, there was one P1 player and I was playing with a bunch of people that had never touched a volleyball before.
Yeah, times are different.
Now there's AVL players at uni games.
And they're normally the teams that win.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on.
One of the AVL teams.
True.
Overseas.
The Pirates.
The men's Pirates finally got their chance to show the world what they've got at the Asian Volleyball Champions League. I don't know if they got to show that much.
To be fair, and like I think because we watched it in our house, and we were sort of sitting there like, okay, we're actually killing balls. Like this is actually good, yeah. And then like Mazursky would come through and hit a ball, and it's like, oh, okay.
You kind of just see the gap of the level that you play at in Australia compared to every other country.
Yeah,
because when they played Suntory, I was even thinking like, their service behind the service line, Suntory was a different beast that you don't see in Australia.
No,
you don't see attackers like Mazursky in Australia. You can see
who is remotely similar to Mazursky in Australia.
Or you send through the team list to me, and it has their little stats at the bottom, and someone on Suntory's touching 368. It's just like so funny,
outrageous.
But they did actually still look really good and pretty competitive.
Like my housemate, one of my housemates, talking about like, are we just going to get bullied on the serve here? And like, we did for a good amount, but we also passed pretty well.
Yeah.
As I said, there were some rallies that, and it sounds like we're expecting the Pirates to get smoked. And like, realistically, yes, but not because of them, but because they're up against gold medal Olympians and they're up against
professional
people,
leagues.
Yeah, they're up against, like, the simple matter is that they train twice a week and that they don't get paid to play. They don't get whereas Mazursky has been getting millions of dollars for years and treatment. Like, it's just the difference.
It's funny to see that we talked about the fact that like a bunch of other teams are pulling in random players from around the world and whatnot. And Pirates got to do that too. They pulled in a fair few different players. Kyle Landers from WA, the Canberra Heat set is Tom McKinney, Ben Carlton, who's been playing in Germany, I believe.
I think so.
But it's just like funny, interesting seeing like, obviously being a non-professional sport in Australia as well, players probably couldn't make themselves available. You can't just take
a week and
a half off
leave,
leave at a drop of a hat to just go play. I mean, even though it'd be pretty good.
It would be, That's what we said in the Discord. Like, is not necessarily demoralizing as it would be to get smoked like that, but like you get to play against some of the biggest superstars on the planet.
And Nathan Roberts said it's not that fun. But to be fair, he got to do it for years. So it was just repeated. Sorry, if that rubs salt in a wound, that it was every year for 6 years. But
gets dull after a while.
It gets dull after a while. But if it's just one and done, that might be fun.
But yeah, there's we talked about it I think last week. But there's some interesting transfer rules. But I don't know if we spoke about it on the podcast or in the Discord. But there's some other, like the Shanghai team. They pulled in Michael Kubiak, who was a Polish captain for years, and Drezga, who was the Polish setter for a number of years. So it's like these guys didn't play for that team. Like,
they didn't even play in an Asian league.
No, so it's like
is eligible, and like Leon was thinking about playing for one of the teams, couldn't because the Polish finals are still going.
Yeah, well, they went one extra game.
Yeah,
Namir and Erno went to play, and they got asked like, "Oh, what's it like playing a season with Bulldogs?" And then immediately playing for a different team. And Namir was pretty sure he was just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's the same.
It's volleyball.
But then we're talking about, you know, the transfer rules and all that. And I was sort of thinking like, at the end of the day, the best case scenario for your league is to have the best players possibly playing.
Yeah.
Like Irvin Nengapeth is playing for
Yeah.
one of the teams. I can't remember which one.
Looking as lazy as ever, doing
Yeah.
a little standing hop jump and blocking that center block that I
did
sent
see
through.
that.
It's literally like he just looks so in control of his timing, his movement and whatnot that he is doing a 30% effort
Yeah.
and winning. Like,
Bare minimum because he knows that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Like to do that certain action. Yeah.
Versus like we do bare minimum and it's not.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. Well, like I said, we don't get paid to play, Alex.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Polish league, the reason why we haven't seen Lyon in the AVC is because Zawiercie did win the third game. They won 3-1. And then Lublin came back in the fourth game and smoked them.
Yeah.
So Lublin are the Polish league champions. Zawiercie second for the second or third year in a row. And that pretty much wraps up every pro league in the world. The only thing left before VNL is the CEV men. Their final four is this weekend. So go and grab a 1 month subscription for the CEV YouTube channel, which is what Alex and I are doing.
Yeah.
And see if you can
No,
catch.
I was an idiot and I've been paying for it for like 3-4 months.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I kept forgetting
And
to
it was
cancel
like, what
it,
am
and
I
was
doing? I don't have that kind of disposable income for another volleyball streaming service.
We need to
Just get that on VBTV too. That worked last time we prayed for it.
We've been asking for that all year. They're not listening to us
No, it
anymore,
wouldn't happen
clearly.
this. They would have already had their deals. But that is also a funny one because you saw and sent through that a CEV team was trying to recruit other players and it got declined.
Yes, they
by
tried to
by the government body. It was who was they trying to recruit? I can't remember from the post. Was it Hulkbank? It was
Hulkbank trying to recruit some. I think it was. I think they were trying to recruit Leon or
there
someone.
was a couple few.
Someone who was like going to make an impact on that
I
team.
wouldn't get it up that quick, but yeah, it was a lot of players.
Maybe Klevno. Maybe they were because it's like someone who had played in that team and
in
then,
the past.
Yeah. Are you looking on now?
Yeah, I was trying to find the message you sent me, but
It's on Insta.
yeah.
While Alex is finding that and I'm finding that, let's talk about the thing that everyone's really keen for: State League. State League round 6 results, and then we'll do round 7 matchups. Are you still finding it?
Yeah, we send a lot of rubbish between each other.
I was just thinking
there's
that. I was
some
like,
productive
geez.
chat, and then I was like, oh, there's a bunch
lot
of rubbish.
crap.
It was Keita, and then TJ DeFalco or Stephen Ma. I don't know how you get
that's right. Yeah, they were trying to get
and
all of them.
Simon as well from Cuba. And CEV
You know what?
governing body declined it.
If I was Hulkbank, I would try and get those players as well.
just let's look for top 4 players in their position.
But that's the like weird thing, right? Is like the AVC were just like, yeah, have whoever you want. Like that's what it looked like. I don't know if there's
It
anything.
is the first year of a
They've done-
Champions
yeah.
League.
Which I said, fair enough. Try and get as many superstars in as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, can we have a Leon or someone?
I was then like flashing back to what it previously was, which was the club Asian club champs.
It
which
was
still happens, but like
It was a different system. So it was like
Yeah.
invite only. You had to bid for it.
Yeah.
There's been several systems.
which I think that would lead to you retaining a lot more of your team
Yeah.
versus a Champions League trying to get it to blow up. You just would be happy for people to take whoever they want.
I like the new system. I think it's good.
Yeah, it'll bring more people to Asian volleyball leagues.
Yeah.
Because at the moment in Asia, it is kind of Japan
And that's it.
and Korea. But
Yeah.
you can't even
You can't
watch
watch
those.
Korea.
Like, yeah.
Anyways, State League, round 6. We will start with the men,
The men
all the way in Bendigo.
in Bendigo, midday.
Yeah.
Lovely. 3-1. Phantoms, Cobras. Cobras getting a set in,
Yeah, they did get the set in.
which is good to see. And want to see this game. Who's playing for Phantoms at the moment? who's chugging along. But that Cobras team has been really feisty in the games I've seen.
Yeah, they're figuring it out. They're young, but
Yeah.
they're figuring it out real fast.
I've really liked that they've got their libero back from Canada who used to be in State League and he's been back.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be a really solid foundation for them.
Well, like That's sort of the first thing I think in younger teams that breaks is your serve reception in first touch. Like it's so handy having one of your most senior players be in that area of your team.
Yeah.
But yeah, good on Fairness getting it done. Cobra's still being competitive. I haven't seen the second round up of that, so it might be different.
We'll see it later because you said on back-to-backs, first one's always, the second one's always different to the first.
Yeah, and I think that's still proven to be true. But anyways, Monash versus Heidelberg. This was our match of the week last week, and Heidelberg did disappoint. Monash did.
Monash did, but not for any real reason, I don't think. It actually did look relatively good. This one, at least, there's like 6 different streams on people's YouTube.
There's a lot of YouTube videos.
So very glad to give it a watch, but it was just a little different. Heidelberg just looks so comfortable still.
Yeah.
A little bit of a different look Monash, not really that different, just missing a couple guys, but a couple different guys in.
Yeah. I wonder if the question is because they had the K brothers back. They had they were missing Dylan Lucchesi, which is a big piece to be missing for that match.
Very big piece.
So I just wonder if they hadn't had enough training time together. Like I wasn't sure when the K brothers would get back. Like they're playing overseas in college. So like, what's the timeline of how many trains do they get in? Like, were they super comfortable?
But it's kind of tough that at the moment probably they're, well, if you include the K brothers, 3 best hitters are all opposites, or they were all rotating through the opposite till the third set. One of the K brothers slotted into pass hitter.
Yeah, having too many opposites is not a good situation to be in.
No, because you can only do
one at a time,
and you're taking off a setter who did look good at the start and like had momentum, and then you have to start double subbing, and it's I love double subbing. I'm a big fan of double subbing, but sometimes it can do a little bit.
It can just be inconsistent.
Yeah,
like when the other team's got one setter the entire way around and they're finding their rhythm, they're finding their groove, and you are constantly changing it up with a team that hasn't played together for that long. Like, as we said, the K brothers just coming in, all that sort of thing, can be chop and change. But as I said, like this is a team that's super young, but they've got so much depth. But Heidelberg, on the other side of that, they have a lot of depth that they're older.
And it's still a little nerve-wracking that Heidelberg has a whole nother gear. 100% they do. They did not serve like they would normally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they go back. Well, actually, maybe they did serve like they would normally because 90% of the time they're doing like a little float and then waltzing into core.
That's how they normally play.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
but like I know that they can pull out and rip jump toppies, and they didn't really need to because they always had a 3-point buffer. So they just kind of sit there, and they are now the best blocking team probably on the men's side at State League. Yeah. They have no real weak.
They have no
blockers.
weak link. They have had in the past a couple of weaker or smaller blockers, but now they definitely don't.
But Parwan's the best blocking setter in State League, and they're opposite, and that is probably the best blocking opposite at State League.
And then Kanwar and Gopi are 2 of the best blocking middles.
And that shut down the left side a little bit in this game. Like just a little bit. Their defense was really good, even though it's lazy. Maybe they have the Engapeth awareness.
They got the Engapeth. They got the Engapeth groove.
But this is a really good game to watch still, even if it's shorter than what we would have hoped. Looking at
it happens.
I screenshotted the Volleyball Victoria poll that they've now been putting up of the match of the week. It was 54-46 Heidelberg's way pre-match. So people thought it was probably going to be close, unless they're just picking who.
I mean, we thought it was going to be close.
I thought it was going to be close. That's why we picked it.
Yeah.
But Heidelberg's in amazing form, so that'll be a tough one.
But that's all right. We'll see plenty more of Heidelberg coming up. Then it was our match. You played. I did not play. What do you reckon?
I've been spending too much time at the laundromat.
What? Why? I'm so confused.
Do I smell nice?
No.
Because I'm washed.
I hate it here. Someone find me a new co-host.
Get him off the air.
Oh my God.
This was a little bit of a hard one to slot back into.
I heard the first thing you did in this match was you came on in the first set and you made 6 errors back to back.
And it wasn't my fault. Thank you, our setter. Okay, I got told by the coach that it wasn't my fault.
That's not who I heard it from. But anyways.
Damn it. So, yeah, I did get blocked twice. I was working it back in, but we played Dandenong All right. 3-0. Relatively did get pushed actually a lot for us to. Dandenong always finds a way to push our buttons.
Yeah.
Every year they usually take a set off us or
they take
force
it
us
deep
a little
in
bit.
the like late 20s and stuff like that. You get there.
Yeah, well, I think it was the second set went to 26-24, or that was the third set.
I think I did look over and see that, and I was like, boys, what's...
Oh, no, that was the first set, sorry. Out of the gate, it was 26-24. So...
It's your 6 errors, mate.
Sad. Probably. But I was unleashed by the physio to play 3 sets. So I said, this needs to be a 3-setter.
Yeah.
And I saw the physio again this week and said, I was actually a bit sore. I had a lot of awareness in my calf and not a whole lot of confidence in the leg. And this week was supposed to be my last physio appointment.
Yeah.
Had it today. Said, can I have another one next week? Because I am going all out on
and
this
you're going to be
weekend,
sore.
and I'm going to be sore. But Dandenong really put up a really good fight. Their blocking was really solid and their defense was really good. And then I think we got let off. I can't really remember because we were recording a couple of days later than what we normally would. I think they let us off the hook right at the end of that first set.
Like making a couple of errors.
Yeah. And our middles just are still
dominant.
The best.
Yeah.
So that makes it a little bit more comfortable when we can really keep activating them. Our serve reception wasn't amazing. It was like their serve at the start of that first set, and I think the start of the second was really good and at forcing us to borderline pass overpasses. I'm pretty sure first 6 points there was 2 overpasses as well.
Huh? You're just trying to share the blame.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I was out of the passing line.
Thank God. I can't believe you just set up I've been to the laundromat too much. This is the worst thing I think I've ever heard. All right. And then V-Farm versus Eastside Hawks. I'm going to give Eastside Hawks the biggest glossing up. You guys didn't go to 5. I think this is the first game you just haven't gone to 5.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll talk about it at the end, but I got a message. We got a message from someone who's Eastside, who in the P2 team, they also have a habit of going to 5 regularly. So you guys...
And they knocked off the top leader, but top leader of P2, their P2 men's. But this P1 Eastside team, we saw another clip of this game.
We did. No, was it this game?
I'm pretty sure it was this game. They might have had 7 players on the court.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that up.
For a point or two. Yeah. That's so funny.
It was very...
Didn't get caught. Weird phrase to look at it or to talk about is they look so comfortable with 7 players on the court. With 4 defenders, they all go to a really good defensive spot.
No one really questioned it. No. I think the libero runs off mid point. Because you just lose. Their Wi-Fi's not working. But I'm gonna throw it up. You guys can watch and be the judge.
Unless it's the P2 team, but I'm pretty sure it was the P1.
I think you're right. I think it's the P1 team. From memory. I watched it at the start of the week.
Yeah, and it's just very funny. But we also say that they finally didn't go to 5, but they kept this a long game. The second set was 31-29.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had caught that. But
no, I was going to say that next. But because I was watching this in between our other game on the women's side. But yeah, A-side, you just got it done.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Another game I think we jumped over was Latrobe Mazenod. It was a 3-0.
Oh, yeah,
Whoopsie. Latrobe getting their win. I spoke to a couple of these guys because the Melbourne team has a lot of Latrobe guys, and they just told me that they were just
clicked.
Going, just
figured it
perfect.
out. Yeah.
Their attack was really solid. Both setters were really good, which is like their pass hitter. Was the main guy I spoke to said that they were just comfortable because I said, what you guys do? Because we went to 5 against Latrobe and 5 against Mazenod.
We just we were pulling an east side. We just liked going 5.
Yeah. But they just said that they were just really good. Mazenod still has some really good guys as well. Like Lockie Chester was supposedly getting heaps of blocks.
I mean, he's a big unit.
So that sounds like it was a really close game, even though it still comes out being 3-0.
Yeah. And then the double header for this round, Maroondah and Phantoms. As I said, it's a different result. It's 3-1.
That's the same result. You idiot.
No, Phantom. Is it actually?
Yeah, Phantoms won 3-1.
Oh, I thought Cobra's won the first one.
No, it's just flipped top to bottom.
Oh, that's
why I was waiting to catch you out when you're like, they're the same. I was like, they are the same.
That is actually the same. Wow, that's rare. I I can't. Why would they flip it like
Loser.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That spun my entire what I was going to say next.
They flipped home team.
Even though
Cobras is the home team now.
still at Bendigo. Like,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I take it back.
Yeah.
It can be the same result, but it's rare.
Yeah.
Like, not much more to say about that. Well, actually, the last game of this round is happening
Right
as
now.
we speak. Yeah, it's happening on Thursday at SVC Court 11, Eastside and Monash playing right now. Who do you reckon's got that one? Who do you reckon's feeling it right now?
Monash. There's no way you come off losing against, like, as second team in the league, losing to the top of the ladder.
And not having a bit of fire.
And not having a bit of fire going, all right, time to unleash on fifth. Like, all right, we've got to play.
Eastside might take them to 5 again, though. We never.
I did say, like, to one of the Monash guys that it is a bit of a negative, a Thursday night game, because it takes out one of your trainings, quote unquote.
But if it's a
I
high
think
quality game.
Yeah, they'll try and slot in another game on the weekend. And that probably takes us to talk about the women's side.
Yes. First
Last
game is also part of the doubleheader. Maroondah and Phantoms. This one.
Same
Maroondah-
result. Same result as the other one.
No, Cobras won.
Damn.
Yeah. They won 3-1.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this one, unfortunately. I haven't heard anything. I did not get to see footage. Yeah, there's not much to be said.
Yeah.
We don't know if Phantoms had their full team or not their full team.
Yeah.
So Cobras, not. It's hard to know.
And the weekend of double headers.
Yeah. The other doubleheader was my doubleheader. The first game of what was a very grueling Saturday. So we lost in 5 to Heidelberg. This was a very competitive match. I actually forgot the stats with me, but the stats from memory, the teams were separated by like 3 or 4 errors apiece, 3 or 4 kills apiece. The one thing that I really like hammered home with the girls was our ability to serve in late in the match. So we had 9 service errors, which is incredible. Like you hear about 9 service errors across a 5-set match and you go, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
6 of them in the 5th set.
Happens.
And we had 2 match points in the 5th set as well.
Yeah.
And served out on both.
Because this was a really close game, and that is like that you were clean to the end of sets in that you didn't really open up that well in the first set. Happens.
We did not.
28-26 in the second, you win. That was really clinical towards the end. I'm pretty sure in the second set you were down.
We were
the
down
match point or 2.
We were down. Set point, but
a set point. Sorry,
we were like 24-21, I believe, and managed to come back to 24 all, and then take it to 26.
And then set 3, 27-25. Also going beyond the 25.
Yeah. And then 17-25. This one was a bit stiff though because we had a major injury late in this set. I think we were down anyways, but you never really know how that shakes out. And then 15-17 in the 5th. So yeah, look, it happens.
Yeah.
We took it hard, which like I think anyone would. And then we will hear about the bounce. Well,
yeah, the bounce back. Is that what you're going to say?
Well,
we'll get to it at the
close
close of the day.
Bit. Yeah. Next one, Yarra versus Latrobe.
Yarra's in good form, as always.
Yeah, there's not much to be said. This was a clinic. I'd say a clinic, and the set scores are quite deep, like 25-12 for the first one, and then 26-24 and 25-22.
Yeah.
That's pretty tight. I imagine that's the classic. If you're Yarra and you're not getting the intensity from the other team, you tend to drop a little bit.
I looked over a little bit because it was the one called over in that second set that was pushing deep.
Paying a lot of attention to your own game, I see.
Always. I pay attention to the sport.
Yeah, fair.
But it actually just looked like Latrobe was rolling because you just keep unleashing, roll the dice, whatever, and it lands. And they were really loud and they looked really good for that
small portion
close of the second half set. They clearly looked good in the third set as well. But like that, there was like 10 points where I just saw them and they just looked perfect off like touch and set. And then they ran middle, they ran behind. They were like, I was like, oh, this is really good. It's just really tough when you're then met by a Yarra doing the exact same thing back.
But like way better.
Yeah.
That's what I remember playing about.
Such a well-constructed team.
And they've just got the experience behind them. Like I remember playing against Latrobe with our girls and it was just like, well, when Latrobe figure it out, it's scary good. Like they've got some attackers. They've got all the pieces. They just similar situation to us, but maybe like
Yeah.
3 years before us in the curb, in the sense of like you've got players that have not really played at this level, but they've got the technical skills. They just got to put together in the moment. But moving on,
our other match of the week, and another 3-0 walloping.
This truly was a walloping. There's some other context behind this one though. Monash missing their main opposite, which we weren't aware of, and their main pass hitter going down in the first set. Not a terrible injury, but just a low management injury that she had to go and take care of. But the first set, either way, was 25-10. Dandenong, and I watched this because we're playing Dandenong this week.
Yeah.
So I watched this to get a decent scout on Dandenong. And Dandenong just look similar to like how you would describe, I think, a team that's figured it out really early in the season. And they're just well-oiled. Like they're just clicking. Like they were making subs and it was not harming their momentum whatsoever. Like they were doing different lineups for some of the sets and they just looked the same. And Monash just playing from behind, I think, in this one. And also, missing your main opposite and your main pass hitter against what is the Dandenong sitting top of the ladder at the moment is pretty hard ask, I think.
Next game, the second half of the back-to-back.
Is it?
Yeah, of the other back-to-back, the Bendigo back-to-back.
You skipped one.
Oh, I skipped one. Sorry.
It happens. I did it as well.
Because this one was clinical too, actually. Didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Well, this was the game in between the doubleheader, so we were watching this one as well as the other one that I watched.
Yeah.
VFAM just looked like VFAM. VIP looking really good. Like VIP similar to like a Latrobe who was I comparing that to? Yeah, Latrobe women. Similar to them, they've got all the pieces of the puzzle. When they figure it out, it looks really good. Annoyingly enough, VFAM are so good defensively that when VIP put all the pieces together, like they get a good defensive touch. They run through the middle, they hit it really hard, and VFAM's like, dig. It's just like,
well, that was worth it.
I think from what I was watching, VIP just, you have to be really, really patient against VFAM. You have to what we call it in the men's, like you've got to win the point more than once. But yeah, VFAM just being very clinical on this one. It's a little bit scrappy from time to time, but it happens.
Then the next game in Bendigo.
The next one.
Phantoms will be fuming that they didn't get to snatch a win out of this back-to-back because they lost 3-1 in the first game and then they lose 3-2 in the second one.
Different result though.
Different result. Different set result. Oh my God.
I'm done.
Just say it's different. It's the same result.
It's not. It's different result.
But this was a close one till the fifth set. Looks like Cobras ran away with it a little bit, which happens in long games, in long days. Can't imagine playing a four-setter and then a five-setter with your 2-hour break maybe.
It's tough,
it's
especially
such a tough
being
situation to get put in Bendigo.
Credit to the Cobras. Like you're the away team as well.
Yeah,
like you've got it harder than that's the whole point of being the away team. But getting out, going all the way out to Bendigo, getting 2 wins. Good on you. And then there's our one.
Different result.
Not happy about this one. Different set result.
Sorry, same result.
Same result. Different set result.
Different set tally.
I think this goes to show the mental strength and experience of the Heidelberg team. Like I pulled out every trick in the book to mentally reset the expectations of my girls. And we talked about it. We were like, yeah, we're all drained. We're all frustrated after losing that game that way. Yeah. You just can't bounce back from that. Like I think knowing that you had what was essentially 3 opportunities, 2 hard opportunities, but we were 13-12 up, missed serve, and then 14-13 missed serve, and then I think we missed another serve somewhere. And it was like, and then I think this game we just also having the injury. We had 2 injuries. We had
and someone
had to go do an assignment. So we're missing 3 pretty senior players. But I was proud of the girls because despite all the mental frustrations and the fact that this is a doubleheader and it's long and it's against what is a top 3 sort of team, 25-18, 25-23, 25-22.
Yeah. I spoke to one of the Heidelberg coaches for just a minute and was like, talking like, after a 5-setter, pre the second game happening, I was like, there's a lot of mental fatigue that comes with that. Yeah. And was a little bit like, Heidelberg is a young team, but a lot of their players have a lot of experience.
And I think, and this is where I was trying to compare the pair. Like, we have a lot of young players that are getting their experience in P1, whereas Heidelberg are doing the same thing, but they've got very experienced players to lead the pack, whereas we don't quite have that yet. Not that that's like an excuse, but it's just, you can see the way, and we gas her up almost every week, but like the way that Mary Dempster leads that team. She reins them in when they're getting mentally frustrated and blowing out errors. She can do these kinds of things. We're getting there, but like having her is very handy.
It's even like the difference of volleyball pathways, especially in Australia. You have players that are sub 20 that have played junior national team. Yeah, that have played,
and they've got three of them.
Yeah. So there's a lot of talent there, and they have a maturity and experience that you only get from playing, so that will make them even scarier as they keep playing. Yeah,
but they were good. And as I said, they showed off they are very mentally persistent and tough. We will go to our sponsor for this week's episode. This episode is brought to you by Andor Financial.
Now, as some of you know, a good friend of ours, good friend of the show, and our Melbourne Uni Renegades captain, Michael Cirillo, has recently started his own mortgage broking business.
Not only this, but Mike and Andor Financial have committed to supporting and sponsoring Net Talk for the indefinite future.
If you didn't know, Mike has spent the last 10 years in the finance industry in both financial planning and mortgage broking roles, and is super passionate about empowering people to take control of their financial future.
So you, or if anyone you know is in need of a home loan or would like to review their current lending situation, reach out to Mike and Andor Financial.
You can find out more information in the footnotes or description down below.
Thank you again to Andor Financial for sponsoring Net Talk. And we're back. Half back. I don't know. Alex might not quite be back yet. Start with the women.
We can start with the women for next week.
All right, we got Maroondah Cobras versus Latrobe University at Empower at 12:30. Maroondah on a bit of a hot streak at the moment. I don't think they've lost many games at all. They're second on the ladder, I believe. See what Latrobe can bring to them. I think Latrobe might take this one by surprise, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Cobras just say no. Could go either way. What do you reckon?
Yeah. I think they'll be pretty solid. They've got both teams I think actually have a pretty tough run of games coming up in the future weeks. Like they're playing other top two teams next week and the week after. So
yeah, it
is always a tough one to have kind of like one of these battles will just like probably determine how confident and comfortable you feel against actually Cobras are sitting second on the ladder. Latrobe's sitting a touch lower, but like if Latrobe can get a win here, that brings so much more confidence when you play a top two team next week. And so on.
And points are points at the end of the day. And when you know you're going into a tough period of the season, you need as many clinical wins as you can possibly get. Next one is VIP versus Monash. Knowing Monash got a couple players missing, I'd be curious to know what VIP can pull to this. I think Monash have enough depth to get the job done, but I would like to see VIP take advantage and really take it to them.
You just want them to knock them down the ladder a little bit, you know?
Absolutely, I do.
Always. We want the upsets.
Yeah. Speaking of a potential upset, this...
you're calling it a potential upset before the weekend even happens.
If we win this match, it's definitely an upset. Dandenong are sitting top of the ladder. We're sitting, I think, 7th or 8th. So Dandenong versus Melbourne Uni. It's at 12:30 SVC. As I said, Dandenong, they're a well-formed machine right now. They look really good. They're performing at the highest level. And annoyingly for me, I'm hearing they've got all the pieces, all the players this weekend. So I'm like, oh, great. Damn it. And also annoyingly, one of our teammates is also their coach.
So just start sledging him. That's your only access.
I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm going
to. Oh, you're missing training tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to.
You're going to have to sledge him for me.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks.
But only enough that he's still really good for our game and then really bad.
Yeah. I'll just make sure he really cops it. Oh, our game's after this anyway.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah. And then the next game at Empower 2:30 is Heidelberg and Mazenod. Heidelberg are looking good at the moment. They're looking really good. Mazenod having a bit of a slow start to the season, I think, but anytime is a good time for an upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anytime is a good time to figure it out. And then the match of the week is Yarra versus VFUM. We picked this one because I think it's a really interesting one. It's third versus fourth on the ladder.
Yeah.
And these two teams complement each other for a good match. Yarra have a lot of experience, a lot of firepower. VFAM have a little bit less firepower, but what they lack in firepower, they have in
Defensive touches.
Yeah, defensive touches. Like they're defensive. I think they are the best
Yeah.
defensive team in the league, maybe other than Dandenong, but like depends on the day.
This also has that air that it feels like a match that will, the end of the season, you go, oh my God, we finished third instead of second.
Yeah.
We lost this match.
Yeah.
And you can always pin it on something when you are one spot lower or something.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, Yarra is one game down. They've had
gotta
their
play a
bye,
doubleheader yet,
and
yeah.
they haven't played a doubleheader. But they're sitting just above on like set percentage. But versus everyone else has played their 6 games. Yarra's on their 5. So it's seeing if Yarra can get that extra win to sit at third, still on one game down compared to everyone else.
Or if VFAM
can get above it.
Yeah, knowing they've got a couple players out, but I think they can pull the upset here. I can definitely see it happening, but I can also see a situation where Yarra just dominates.
Yeah.
50-50 on this one, which is why it's interesting and it's why it's the match of the week.
Which is why we want to watch it.
Yeah,
well, we can't.
No, we can't. We're playing at the same time. On to the men.
On to the men. Opening us
Dandenong
up.
and Mazenod, 12:30 SVC. This will be a good one.
This will be a good game. Seeing how Dandenong played last week, I think they could maybe actually find a way to get a win here if they can be really strong defensively and behind the service line.
This is one of those games where both these teams needs to figure it out for their season outlook.
Figure it out. You've said that like 10 times.
Well, it's what you need to do.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Mazenod's just so strong offensively that I think it's scary and got a really good block.
I wasn't there, but I'm assuming Dandenong are annoyingly defensive.
Yeah.
Like that's what I took out of our team chat when I wasn't, even though I didn't play.
Yeah.
So similar situation potentially to like a Yarra VFAM where you've got firepower versus defense.
Yeah, force them out of system from behind the serve line, and then your defensive touch can be a lot more positive as well.
So long as you are Mazenod and you are patient and you're not bleeding out areas trying to kill the ball faster than it needs to be killed. Next one is Cobras versus Latrobe. This one could be spicy, I think.
2 young teams going at it.
2 young, fiery teams. I think if you need to leave before the match of the week, I think this would probably be a good one. We got Judy on this one. So, yeah.
I don't help the team. I'm not going to be there.
I also won't be there. I'll be coaching at the same time. But anyways, yeah.
That's also another perk of being a coach is you don't have to do the duties.
Oh, it's so good. I hate doing duty. Actually, that's a lie. I
actually would maybe want to be duty for this game because then you get to watch it.
I like doing duty for games you want to watch.
Yeah, but so that'll be really interesting to see who can get a win there.
If I'm breathing by then. Next one is Yarra versus VFAM. VFAM stumbled over the last couple of weeks, so I wonder if they can pick it up again against Yarra, who are a very, very good team. Yarra have got all their main players back, though, I believe.
Yeah, they should be turning it up slowly.
So this one could be fiery as well. Honestly, very similar to the women. Like Yarra have got a lot of firepower, but Yarra men are also
really
frustratingly good at defense.
Yeah, they kind of hit every mark. They probably got caught off guard a little bit a couple of weeks ago, and then
like when we played.
Yeah, then they had a bye, I believe. Or
I think our only counter to them, and this is pretty much what won us that match, is our blocking. I think that's our answer to Yarra. So if VFAM can follow in similar footsteps, that's probably what they need to do.
Yarra will be trying to get a really efficient win where they can get every player firing, because it is how it sort of works as well. You do have to look 2 rounds ahead as well. They've got big games coming up. They got Monash the week after. So it is like you can't slip up here and go to 5, or because that just does so much to your mental. We did it. We went to 5 against 2 teams where they say you shouldn't go to 5 here, and it takes a whole 2 more games to get back out of that.
See that figure it out
things.
Statement. It is applicable to anything, Alex. And then the match of the week, which we
picked ourselves.
We've humbly chosen ourselves.
Humbly chosen ourselves.
To be fair, So on everyone, including us, this is a grand final rematch.
Yeah.
There's no way this couldn't be the match.
And we picked ourselves, and no one on the Volleyball Victoria public poll picked us.
I'll have everyone know that we are 50-50 in match results for us and Heidelberg over the last, 3 years? 2 years?
2 years. I think we might even be up on them.
Because we beat them.
We beat them twice at that Warrnambool.
Yes. And then we lost them in that season.
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we lost them twice in that season.
We lost to them at Warrnambool, in the final, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then
So we'd be a little bit negative. A little bit under. We'd be 40%.
Yeah, maybe. But we beat them in the regular season last year.
And it was a genuine match.
And it was a walloping.
Yeah.
I said in the Instagram caption, this one's before bedtime, so we're all still awake. All right, the grand final happened at 10 p.m.
Yeah, true.
We're all awake. We're all fresh.
We need to, yeah. But in saying that, this will be a good one, I think. I think we're all really feeling it. I heard you guys trained really well on Tuesday. We know the game plan. I think everyone is aware of how to beat this team.
This is why I harped on a little bit, because it was something I was looking at about watching their last week game, was that they are a really strong serving team, and they didn't show that last week. I think they will show that this week.
Yeah, I think people will see it.
We know what their serving plan will be. And then it's we just need to make sure that we're getting a relatively positive pass.
And so then backing our outer system.
Yeah, backing our outer system stick hitters until we can reintroduce our middles. Because I think we do match up really well against their game style.
We actually do. Ever since
awake.
This is some people ask why is it that we are the only team, not the only team, but we're one of few teams that can really take it to them. And I think it is our blocking. I think if you're to beat this Heidelberg team, the way they play, I think you have to block really well.
Yeah.
And I also think you have to move your middles around. You have to play the same game that they're playing.
I said, I'll try.
You'll try.
I'll try the blocking thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Can you please do? You're all 6'8" of you, and you can't.
I'll try.
You're just blocking Manjai. He's small. I'm going to get flamed for that comment.
I'll be attacking down that side too, so I better not get blocked by him either.
No, can't wait for the first.
We've got someone doing stats to look over the grand final. I've rewatched the grand final a couple of weeks ago. I've got a couple blocks there.
We don't need to relive it. I wasn't there.
You need to relive it. I'll be watching it Friday night probably as well.
I actually wasn't even there, so
yeah. So you have to rewatch it and say, where would you have come on and changed anything
when you stunk it up in that fourth set?
Didn't happen. Wasn't that bad?
Definitely did. I would have been much worse anyways. I would have been ripped back off the court as fast as I got on.
Yeah, happens.
But yeah, I think if anyone's at SVC 2:30, I think this is
genuinely... I think if you can be free in Dandenong, that 12:30 slot, there's a couple good games to watch. And then the 2:30, I'd be running between the courts.
Yeah, sit in the middle and just tilt the head.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one for sure. It's a good weekend of volleyball, I think. A couple of really good matches. We're being treated. Is that it?
That is it. That's a really, This is a really good couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, next week we're going to be the schedule as well. I've seen some heaties.
Hopefully people are enjoying listening to us chit-chat about it.
Yeah.
Backing ourselves because no one else will.
Well, if you're not, we're not going to stop. So
had to repost the poll to our story with just renegades or renegades.
Yeah, I did see that. I was like, what are you doing? And then I saw it. I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, come on, we got to start. We're allowed to be biased.
We got to prove
for ourselves. That's
76% of people wrong. Yeah, that voted for Heidelberg in that original poll.
It's 82 now.
Man. Where's the support, guys?
Whoa.
You guys don't believe we can do it?
Maybe it's because we come on here and we talk about being washed every week.
Yeah. I don't. You do.
I do. Because I am.
Mr. Laundromat.
But I'm turning it up. I've loaded up this week.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You're going to hit the gym once a yearly gym session on the Friday before the game?
Oh, yeah. That's when you should definitely do it.
Definitely.
I'm going to squat 200 kilos on Saturday morning.
I wouldn't put bars. You would do something like that. I hope you've enjoyed these. Make sure you share them if you're enjoying them and the matches of the week. Just to, we're doing our part.
Yeah, keep letting us know what's going on your courts. Tell us the stories because
that's what we need
so many
to do.
Games.
We got sent an Eastside story.
We already talked about that video.
No, we didn't.
The actual PT meant.
Yeah, this is what we want. We want people to send in stories, as in storylines from your games, right? So this is from the Eastside Hawks Premier 2 men's. They're the only team to take a set off KVA in Prem 2. Mind you, KVA don't get a Prem 1's team, so that KVA team naturally ends up being pretty good. They won the game in 5.
Lovely.
And I pretty much replied with, "Oh, another Eastside team going to 5? Shocker."
They've got it down this year.
And you're right, that clip is of the P1 team, and we'll throw it up again just so everyone can have a look at what 7 players on a volleyball
Here's their deep
court.
dive. Here's their. How would you? Yeah, we can do a deep dive. We'll get a whiteboard up. We'll draw. You have 7 players on court. Where do you play defense?
Yeah,
because
where
they
do
did
you-
it perfectly.
And no one noticed.
No,
But
and it was a really good point.
It wasn't like a short point. Yeah.
No.
Anyways,
Sorry to that ref.
Reffing's hard. People don't understand how hard.
Yeah,
Reffing's hard.
whose eye catches that?
To be fair, it technically is the second ref's job, no?
Yeah, it is actually
Because they're
true.
looking at the other team.
Yeah.
Anyways, you guys can be the judge, and we'll leave you with that. Well, thanks for calling. Thanks for hanging out. We'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.